So, John Fugelsang.
Thom Hartmann.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to our humble little office here.
Welcome to our subway system and crumbling infrastructure. Thank you.
In Ron Hartenbaumville. So, tell me about, well, first of all, you saw the debate last night?
I saw the debate last night. I thought it was the most interesting one yet, that it focused on policy more than any I'd seen. And, you know, Tom, for a long time I was thinking, God, is this election going to be like 2004, where you have this unpopular incumbent who we know broke the law, it was WMDs then, and where you have this talented, diverse field of Democrats who just keep knocking each other off until they're so weak that the incumbent who never won the popular vote wins. I've been so terrified of 04, but now the Democratic field is reminding me of the GOP in 12. Seemingly everyone is going to be at the top of the heap for a week or so, and last night looked like, you know, it's Pete Buttigieg's party now, and I was thinking, God, I bet Amy Klobuchar is in the front by mid-January. They all had a good night. I didn't think anyone was damaged. I thought it's still, you're either with Senator Sanders or Warren, or you're looking for a moderate alternative to Biden idol.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the reality show.
And for that matter, Joe Biden actually did better last
night. He had a great night
on any of the one. And I finally figured out. I mean, and I've said this on the air, particularly in the first two debates. I thought what he was showing was age. You know, that he was missing words. He'd say, "I got two things to say about that," and then he'd forget the second one, and that concerned me. But the major part was he would be in a thought, and then he would just kind of veer off a little bit. And
I agree.
And last night, I figured out at least a good chunk of that isn't that the guy's getting old and senile. It's that he's still struggling with stuttering. Yeah. He would just like have a hard time saying a word, and rather than bang 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 on that word, he would just digress off to some other word or in some other direction. And I because just a few weeks ago I'd read this long article about how he's struggled with stuttering all his life, and I had no idea.
That article was a real game changer for his campaign, I think, because he may have wanted to avoid that subject, but since then it has gotten the subject off his age and onto this, and it's humanized him in a brand new way that most of us who've grown up knowing the guy had never known before.
Yeah, and to the point that Sarah Sanders was ridiculing him today, you know, and
what a shock.
We're talking with John Fugelsang. He's the actor, comedian, host of SiriusXM Progress. His show is on from 9 to midnight on SiriusXM. He was with me yesterday. We were doing this little 2-hour holiday special for SiriusXM, or end of the year special, I guess.
Yeah, it's great fun.
Yeah, it was. Every host except Stephanie Miller was there. Basically, a major progressive lineup. And he's also a filmmaker. His latest film is Dream On, a road trip in search of the American dream. JohnFugelsang.com, the website, and of course the Twitter handle as well.
And by the way, I just moved to SiriusXM Progress, and I only did it because I wanted to try to be Tom's Secret Santa at the holiday party. So it's great to be on the channel.
This is the problem. Interviewing a comedian.
Yeah, sorry about that part.
I just can't keep up. You and Stephanie, right? I get in the studio with Stephanie. I'm like, oh,
well,
God.
Yeah.
She thinks so fast. You guys are so good at associative connections.
A lot of that is the cocaine we both use. And the
well, I did that. I mean, not today, but I did that back in the day, but it didn't seem to help. I really think that there's a different kind of wiring. I mean, my thinking processes tend to be very linear. I take a chunk of data and then I just try to drill down into it.
That's your brilliance.
My best friend was a stand-up comedian. He lives here in New York, Jerry Schneiderman, and known him since the early 70s. And he does the same thing. You're going down some road, mental-wise, and boom, he takes a 90-degree and just like, and the response is to laugh. I mean, that's.
Well, my dad was a history teacher, and I grew up really invested in learning about government and history. And as you know, my parents were both ex-Catholic clergy. My mom was a nun who was a nurse in Africa. My dad a Franciscan brother. So I grew up with that activist social justice Christianity, which I still believe in. And but I realized something very powerful that Billy Wilder said: if you're going to tell people the truth, make it funny or they will kill you. And so that sort of thing of like having the references come in. If I just went on stage and tried to talk about what I care about, it would be propaganda and boring. But the jokes are the lubrication, if you will, that helps move the point along and often balances it out. Yeah. I mean, you reach a lot more of our conservative brothers and sisters if you can make them laugh, because they'll trust you. That's why people, I think, trust comics more than they trust a lot of politicians or a lot of journalists. Because if there's an element of truth, you'll laugh and you'll recognize that.
Yeah. I took a screenwriting course from Robert McKee.
Oh, yeah,
In
of
fact,
course.
I took it 3 times.
Yeah.
Louise took it twice, and our youngest daughter took it once. All
Brilliant
all
man.
together. He is. He's just mind-boggling. And he made a comment, kind of almost as an aside, because we were talking about, mostly it was about mystery and suspense, and I was there as a novelist. And he said, in comedy, what you do is you establish an expectation, and then you violate it in a way that makes perfect sense. And Red
Yes.
Skelton. I just flew in from Pittsburgh, and boy, are my arms tired, right?
Yeah.
And that's the moment, and then the reaction to that is one of both surprise and relief, and realization, all kind of rolled together, which produces laughter. Are you? At that moment when he said that, I thought, oh my God, there's a science to comedy.
Sure.
Is that something that you knew, or have you always had that ability throughout your life and it just kind of intuitively?
I think it's something I'm always trying to learn more. And many times in political comedy, it's taking that truth and then finding the trope that turns it on its head. Like when Trump came back from meeting the Saudi royal family, my joke was, I just flew in from Saudi Arabia and boy, are my arm sales tired. I mean, it's just...
Well, it's a double on top.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of, like finding where it is. I mean, Tom Petty once said, God's already written all the great songs, you just have to find them. And it's sort of the same with a joke. And I think Twitter has made a lot of people even better comedians because it's all about the economy.